Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today we're going to talk about Here's Negan Part 2. The Walking Dead Negan's backstory, 4 pages at a time, and yes, the frustration is finally setting in, finally starting to set in, I should say, because 4 pages, there's not much there. I don't know. I can't keep, saying this because it's obvious. They're putting 4 pages in to buy this, and yes, for some reason, it's incredibly jarring when you're reading this. I just don't believe it's meant to be read like this. It is difficult to enjoy, where just when you start to get going with the story, it's like, oh, that's fucking it, But okay, let's move on past that. As far as the story from part 1, to do the recap, from part 1, we got introduced to Negan playing ping pong with some students. His alleged wife comes around the corner, yells at him for using foul language around the students, and then she falls down. Part 2, we pick up where we left off with his wife falling down. They go to the hospital. Then after that, they show them crying, and then they just show Negan punching a punching bag, coaching his students, looking upset, and then he's sleeping with his girlfriend, who asks him what's the matter, and he sits up and says, "My wife has cancer." This does a few things. One, this part officially confirms this is definitely taking place before the breakdown of society. Before, we thought maybe, she fell down because she had the flu from whatever turns you into a zombie, or she fell down and this would lead into some kind of outbreak. She was some kind of sick. Maybe it was just a cliffhanger. So yeah, this is highlighting his life. And we don't know how soon. I would imagine it would be relatively soon. I can't really see. Well, then again, they could do a little bit with his wife dying. Do a time skip, right? Which is kind of difficult in 4 pages. Do a time skip and then show Negan in a very dark place. And then the apocalypse comes. And that is, the perfect storm, so to speak, which creates Negan possibly. But we're seeing some hints within his character. He's banging his girlfriend. He's so worried about his wife. So anyway, yeah, it does confirm that this is absolutely pre-apocalypse by maybe a couple months, maybe a couple years. If they do a time skip, that's very important. Negan's hair is even different too. The way he carries himself somewhat is very different as well. He doesn't have that same demeanor on that the Negan we know does. And I know it's difficult to get at 4 pages or even just a couple pages of a comic book to get that same demeanor, that same style. But he just doesn't have it like the Negan that we see in the comic book. And then another thing it confirms is there another thing? I knew there was 2 things. What was the... it confirms that's definitely his wife. I thought there was something else. Maybe that was it. That's it. That just confirms that that's his wife, and then this is taking place a little bit before the breakdown. Again, how much before, I don't know. I think it would be pretty interesting to see him get hit pretty hard with his wife's cancer. I mean, maybe they might even do a time skip where they show him at a grave, and then we know he went through that experience losing her with cancer. And then after that, we might even get another 4 pages, another 8 pages or so, where we pick up where Negan's in a dark place, and this is still before the breakdown of society. And then once the breakdown of society happens, it's like a kid in a candy shop. It changes him in a way. And then he decides, instead of being run over by this new world, and letting it control him, he decides he's just going to sit around a campfire, wrap barbed wire around a baseball bat, and kick some ass and own some shit, Anyway, there's a few different places, a few different directions this story can go. Right now, if I was going to make a mini prediction, which again is pretty difficult based on the little bit that we got now, just only 8 pages, I would have to say that I'm sticking with that. Negan loses his wife from the cancer, and then after that, he's in a dark place, and then the breakdown of society comes, and that is what leads him on the path to becoming the Negan we know from the Walking Dead comic. Anyway, this is an awesome cover. I still stand by the idea, and I'm really hoping that fans sound off and they decide, you know what, okay, this is selling well, we don't need to push this anymore. After 4 or 5 months, let's give them the whole damn Negan story, because it's frustrating doing just 4 pages at a time. And I think anyone who, by 4 or 5 months, anyone who's definitely going to pick these up, they should. And another thing, I don't know how much it costs to wrap this in plastic, but if that's at all possible, I think they should, because I noticed my comic books shop has a stack, I mean, it's through to the roof of issue number 1 of this, and I noticed one dude, a younger kid, came in and just, conveniently flipped through the back. It's only 4 pages, took a little gander at it and fucking put it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's at all possible, wrap that shit in plastic, because again, if we're gonna sit here and have to wait, the whole 12 months to get each issue, you might as well, I don't know, get as much out of it as you possibly can. You know what I mean? Because if people can just 4 pages, you can simply lift this up. I took this to the car, opened it up, and was like, oh, ain't that interesting? Set it in the car. That was it. I only buy it to support it because I'm a fan, and it's only $2. Plus, I actually like the previews of the other books. Like, there's a preview of a book called Kill or Be Killed, and I know just off this preview alone, this is something I definitely want to check out. Plus, I'm not familiar with all of their work, but I do know the names Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I do know those names. I believe Sean Phillips did a cover, actually, for issue 100 of The Walking Dead. But Ed Brubaker, I think they did a book called The Criminal, which actually looked pretty good. So regardless, I like real-life crime stories and horror stories, like in comic book form. So I know I'm going to check that out. And there's also another one in here that looked pretty cool. They got some cool images, actually. So even if The Walking Dead said, you know what, or Robert Kirkman, Skybound, whoever, even if they said, you know what, we're not doing this shit anymore with Image Plus, I would still be buying this to support it, just to see what's coming out for the previews. Because again, if I'm going to the bookstore or the comic book store for $2 more, I can see what's coming, So I'm definitely going to be picking these up even once Negan's story is out of this, because I like seeing what's coming, and I'm looking for that next book that really hooks, sinks its hooks in. But there's a story here called The Black Monday Murders #1. Again, there's this and Kill or Be Killed. It looks like a crime story. It kind of looks a little bit like Seven or something messed up, because they got this body hung up. I don't know how well you can see that. But yeah, so these two I want to check out now. Anyway, thoughts and opinions in that comment box. Your predictions for Negan's story, where does it go from here? And I'm really curious to know how many of you out there believe that Negan's wife is named Lucille. So far, it seems like 9 out of 10 comments I see, people are saying they believe her name is Cecile. I was about to say Celia. 9 out of 10 comments I see say that her name is going to be Lucille. So let me know. What do you think? Is Negan's dead wife, who died of cancer, named Lucille? Put your thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. Maybe in this eye, I'm going to run a little poll. That's what I'm going to do. I've been waiting for a time to utilize this poll up here. See this eye? Click it, and you'll have to run your cursor over it. Cell phone, tablet, laptop, it doesn't matter. Click this eye, it'll drop down, and I'll put even videos in here. I do it in every video, so if you want to start checking that out, it's going to be video recommendations and also a poll. Let me know, do you think Negan's wife is named Lucille or not? Thanks for coming by, checking this out with me. I appreciate all the support. We're almost at 76,000 subscribers strong, on the road to 100K. Put all your thoughts, opinions, theories, and predictions down in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.